Hey guys, this is Princess here, and in today's video we're going to be talking about the next LDs and bursts coming this month. So the first one is going to be for Final Fantasy VII's Cloud. So our poster boy gets this LD weapon called the Apocalypse, and this will grant him the LD skill called Blade Beam. It's a 6-hit AoE range brave single target HP attack. It deals more damage on single targets. It has 180% max brave overflow. It deals splash damage, and it will delay all targets by 1 turn and will grant a free skill use on the next turn. Looking at the LD passives, at 1 out of 3 he gets Blade Beam Power++, so this will raise Brave damage, and any active buffs will change his Brave Attack into Brave Attack++, and his HP attack will also change into HP Attack++, which is basically, hold on, so like with Brave Attack++, it's just now 4 Brave hits, and then HP Attack Double Plus is now a 3-hit melee Brave HP attack with a 150% max Brave overflow, and it will deal more critical damage. Then at 2 out of 3, you get Blade Beam Delay Plus, which will add an extra delay, so now you delay enemies for 2 turns. And then at 3 out of 3, you get Blade Beam Charge, which will add 1 additional use to his LD skill. And then each time you limit break this, it will raise Cloud's attack. Next up we have his burst weapon, which is the Fusion Sword, and this will grant him the Finishing Burst Omni/Slash version 5. So it's a ranged brave HP attack that is delivered 12 times, converts 50% of the total HP damage dealt into brave before the last HP attack, and will deal about 20% splash damage. So his burst effect is 4 turns, and it is party-wide. It raises brave damage and critical brave damage by 50%. Max brave damage is raised by, it raises max brave damage limit by 20%, and it raises brave overflow limit by 30%. But remember, the same burst effects don't stack. So this is the banner that will be featuring Cloud's LD and Burst. It's going to be in the raid event that's happening right now on Global, and it also features Celeste, Waka, Yuri, Setzer, and Rem's EX, along with Cloud's EX. And then Cloud's burst weapon will also be featured on Beatrix's Lost Chapter banner, and it will be featured on Zan's banner, and this is the last time that it will show up. Moving on, the next character to get their LD and burst is going to be Firion from Final Fantasy II. So Firion's LD is called the Ice Brand, and this will give him the skill Vortex of Arms. So it's a 4-hit AoE range brave HP attack delivered twice. It deals split damage, but it does deal more damage on single targets. It has a 200% max brave overflow. It will recover the party's HP by 50% of the HP damage dealt, limit to being 35% of max HP, and any excess HP will be converted into brave, the limit being 100% of initial brave, and all enemies will be inflicted with the Drain Weapon debuff for 3 turns. So just to go into detail on what Drain Weapon does, this will trigger a Drain Weapon trap once the enemy has their turn. So it starts off by raising Firion's Brave by 20% of his max Brave, and then follows up with a 3-hit range Brave HP attack. It will recover party HP by 50% of HP damage dealt, limit being 10% of their max HP, and then excess HP will be converted into Brave, the limit being 100% of his initial Brave, and then raises Brave damage by 30% of HP damage dealt. Keep in mind that this does not launch. And then the Drain Weapon debuff itself will lower attack. Moving on to the LD passives. So at 1 out of 3, you get Vortex of Arms Power+++. So it raises the brave damage by 10%. And then the Blood Weapon buff, and when Firion's HP is at 50% of max, it will change his brave attack into Brave Attack Triple Plus, which is now just 4 brave hits that raises the party brave and recovers his own HP. And HP attack will become HP Attack Triple Plus, which is right down over here. So it will raise his own brave based on his attack. It's now a 2-hit melee brave HP attack with a 120% max brave overflow, and it also heals HP and raises party brave. Then at 2 out of 3, you will get Seize Attack buff start Drain Weapon longer. So Firion will start the quest with his Max Brave buff and Brave Regen buff, and enemies will the Drain Weapon debuff will be extended to 3 turns. And then at 3 out of 3, you will get Vortex of Arms Charge, which will just add 1 use to his LD. Oh, and then one last thing to keep in mind is that each time you limit break this, it will raise the party's attack. Next up we have Firion's burst weapon, which is the Wild Rose. This will grant him the finishing burst called Fervid Blazer. So it raises his own brave by 50% of his max brave, and then follows up with an 8-hit range brave HP attack that is delivered twice. It raises own brave by 20% of HP damage dealt after the first attack. So then his burst effect, again, it's 4 turns and it is party-wide. It does have an additional effect when Firion has full HP. So it will raise max Brave by 50%, it grants Brave by 200% of initial Brave, and then raises Brave by 20% of HP damage dealt. This is once per turn though, and again, same burst effects don't stack. So this is the banner that will be featuring Furion's LD and Burst, along with his EX. It will also feature EX weapons for Golbez and Ferris, as well as for Lena, Irvine, and Fujin. And the event that's going to be held to commemorate this is, I forget the name of it though, but it's the kind of quest where you need to bring certain characters who have certain crystal colors. So it's kind of like what we've been doing in Abyss. And then the last 2 banners that will be featuring his burst. So the first one will be on Xdeth's banner, which will also feature Xdeth's LD. And then on this banner right here, this will be on a boss rush event. This will also feature Dark Knight Cecil's LD, but this will also be the last banner that will feature Furion's burst. So with that being said, we're now going to head over to Opera Omnia JP, and I'm going to showcase Cloud's LD, and I'm also going to showcase Furion's LD and burst. Okay, so we're back in Opera Omnia JP. So here's my Cloud over here, and just to showcase, here is his LD passive right over here. I don't have his burst weapon on him, unfortunately. I tried to get it, and it just never showed up for me. And then I have Firion over here, so I have his burst weapon. I've got a 7-star armor on him too, and then over here is his LD passive. Alright, so I'm going to actually start off with doing Seize Attack first, because this I think this boss can dispel buffs when when his recast gauge is full. So I'm going to start off with a Blade Beam first. And just for the record, for any Smash fans out there, Cloud will say his signature line whenever his limit break is full. But as you can see, Cloud has free skill usage for his C65 and for both of his skills. I'm just going to do a couple of brave attacks here. Alright, so now we're going to demonstrate Furion's LD. And I love the animation for that. And his weapons just come out and then come down onto the ground and then just back on him. So I'm going to continue to do more brave attacks again. And also this this little effect here that you see on Cloud's head, this is from his LD board. Global doesn't have that just yet. Right, and then that was the Drain Weapon debuff. I'm just going to do another brave attack here, because I want to finish this off with Furion's burst. Alright, so let's go in with the burst. And the song that's playing right now is supposed to be like the, the Rebel Army theme, but it's like the original. Alright, so now for the big question. Should you pull for Cloud or for Firion? So, just to kind of summarize what their LDs and bursts bring. So with Cloud, his LD does bring a delay effect. His burst deals 12 hits in total, and his burst effect raises the party's damage output, as well as their Brave Overflow and their critical Brave damage. As for Firion, his LD adds extra healing, and it does add a trap as well. And his Brave Battery can also, his burst effect Brave Battery's party members as well. So here's the burst effect, by the way, or finishing burst. Man, that's awesome. Yeah, just to go back to what I was saying, and then also to, with Furion's trap having, or Furion's LD having a trap mechanic, you can pair him up with other characters who have trap mechanics, or who can deal counter damage. You can pair him up with Emperor, or you can pair him up with 8, or you can pair him up with Gladio. That's what I've done before in the past, and it's such a fun team composition. So those are just to kind of like give you some ideas. So that covers up everything for this video. Thank you guys very much for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe. Let me know if you will be pulling for Cloud or for Furion this month, and I will see you all next time.